Welcome back to Soul Spark Tarot. I'm your host, Mr. Banu. Let's go ahead and get some sage in you. Yeah. So, we got our 25 days of Christmas. This is what we're doing today. We've been stringing together all of this energy so we can see what can be reborn and birthed. So, we've been looking at these energies, and these energies have been telling us to call our energy back. Oh, but it's here. And then it's been telling us to recast our energy, meaning we want it back, make it feel desired, make that old energy feel wanted and needed. And then we're at the point of giving it new roles. So we have to realize that we have multiple new opportunities. So with the energy that we came back and make feel good for being here again, we said, hey, we think you can be good at this. And so we've been trying it. And as of late, it has been showing us results that we really wouldn't have recognized. There's just things that's been dropped into us and we just feel like it should be televised. And here we are, and this is what this is for. And this is why we're on this 25 days of Christmas. Been trying to concentrate all of the experiences into things that you can do for yourself. And so, with that, we're going to continue. Today is day 19. Got like 6 days left on this 25 days of Christmas. With that being said, I'm going to let you vibe out with the rest of this song and then we'll get started. And then we'll see what's going on for today. Alright. So, hope you chilling, hope you feeling good, hope you living the life that you think that you should. And if you're not, I hope you're getting, going towards that space. Alright. So yesterday we finished off with the star, with the King of Cups or King of Potions in this deck, King of Wands, and then we have the Emperor in reverse, which is telling us that we need to continue to look at the list that we created about how great we looked when we did many things of the past. Instead of just looking at the past, we're looking at the God inside of us during those moments, because we're finding value in how we reacted and responded, to where we can see that as a part of the journey that made me who I was at this point in time. So now we can go back and see more of those vibes and we can get boosted. We can feel good. This is called soul inspiration. So it's like this whole 25 days, we've been literally walking through becoming soul inspired. And that's crazy because every time I'm doing it with you, I'm getting more clarity too. And this is exactly how it would happen when I was teaching. Because I was always involved with different people, but the same topic, it's because I was in a routine. Those three becauses, it allowed me to create a new point of view, which was with the things that repeat on the same routine, finding the things that are different, finding the things that are the same. It was important. Oh, that was crazy. It was important because it helps us see the things that are the same when different and the things that are different when the same. So it gives us an additional layer to view the world through. It gives us multiple filters on top of a single filter. Instead of just switching from filter to filter, no, you're adding them on top. Think of a cell stacked on top and then you become what we call an or some tissue, and then you stack more tissues up, but tissues is just cells. So then now we call organ, and then you take your organs and continue to stack up these things together, aka tissues, aka cells, and then again now you get a whole system of this organ operating at proximal parts, then distal parts. We got lots of different ways to interact with this one thing, but it's still just a collection of a whole bunch of smaller things. These needles or thoughts or ideas or experiences or these expectations of life, these qualities of life that we use to determine those experiences, all of those things come together to help us pinpoint different experiences called emotions. Now we're taking the idea of what was an experience from another, and then we're applying it to ourselves as an emotion. So we can take people's thoughts and actions and words as things called experiences, which would generate, let's say, a positive or negative emotion. Damn, I hate talking to this teacher. All he do is fucking yell at me. Like, these are the things that we're seeing because yelling is not an experience, but because of the yelling and the negative experience you respond with, those things allow you to determine that that whole interaction was deemed bad. But what we're doing now is we're taking the time to go back and be like, man, I was a champ for standing there and taking that bullshit from that teacher, but he was real mad. And I know I've been mad after 10 years, and it's random thought keep popping up in my life again over and over. Let me try to sit down and see what's going on. What I'm looking for when I'm seeing what's going on is to find out who and what is acting like me. Where can I see me in the memory? Where is a time frame where this motherfucker is my reference, this teacher yelling at me? Where is other times in life over the course of these 10 years where I've been a motherfucker yelling at somebody else? And then once I find that space, then I can start to understand why that teacher is yelling at me. But then you'll quickly find out that even though now I'm doing the same action, there's a lot of different reasons as to why I would be yelling at somebody. So now I'm looking at something that's the same, but I'm trying to find a difference. This is us living life. Let's see what the card uses. How do we justify? Oh, shit! How do we justify this card? We justify this card as the Eight of Swords in reverse. Okay, so again, and this is cool because normally the Eight of Swords in reverse in the traditional deck will show you something that is a lot more positive. But in this deck, the positive version of this card is it being upright. So the fact that it came up in reverse, it shows you that on the inside of you, those things are becoming upright on a more deeper internal version of you. In other words, you've had enough experiences to allow you to see multiple deaths upon you, but then not only do you see the multiple deaths, you now are able to see so many you can start to classify these deaths or these transitions as a brand new thing. You have evolved from singular or cellular deaths, right, to now you're tissue. You've reached a new level. So because you can see yourself as whole, the thing is, on the inside is where you're seeing it. So you have brought death to the things that brought you death because you understand that after so many attempts that you can see the larger picture, which puts you back together, but from an internal point of view. So no matter how often you break apart now, it's just breaking down and being ground into a collection of something that's larger. It's like taking a block of cheese and grating it down, but the grated cheese goes into a giant bowl of like 6 other blocks of cheese. So now it's way more, even though it's smaller. It's broken down, but it is being added to a way larger pool, a way larger collective. So now what you've done is created that huge moment, that whole life that was just your everything, and you just turned that shit into a little passing moment. It don't even mean nothing no more. Your whole world, what your entire universe was just smushed down into a simple fragment. You took a whole universe and shrunk it down into a human, shrunk it down into a cell, and shrunk it, shrunk it, shrunk it, shrunk it, shrunk it. You don't even remember it's there. That's how small it is now. Oh yeah, shoot, I forgot. That's the energy that we're in on for today. This energy today is really helping us understand that we've we've started to recategorize the different ways that we can see ourselves in the past. And those ways that we can see ourselves in the past is not of death, it's of rebirth. Because death is rebirth, but the other side to death is what we're referring to, the rebirthing aspect. This is why this Eight of Swords is in reverse. It's the internal you, the roots of the tree, as above, so below, as below, so above. This is the as below, so above part. See, a lot of people are lazy as fuck, and they only say as above, so below. They only want 25 cents and 25 cents, but they think they got a $50 and a $50. No. They need to learn to walk away from the things that they've had as an understanding and use what they've gained as an understanding. One is the nature aspect, I just have it. One is the nurture aspect, I've obtained it, I've gained it, I had to acquire it. I had to do more in order to build up and develop this skill or behavior. But it takes skill to build up behavior. So the mastery of oneself comes from the magic that one can hold within that self. What can you create? But you're always creating. So what can you become aware of when you are in the process? Not the process of creation, aware of within the process. If you leave it at that, any process that you take, you will now become more conscious upon it. We just cast that illusion upon that understanding. We cast the illusion upon the understanding by building what we call a concept or creating a model or a reference. But what we're determining is it's something outside of us. Just like these emotions in the Eight of Cups when we walk away. We realize that it's nothing inside of me, so I need to stop looking at the emotional sides of the situation. This is not on the internal. Let me walk away. The only way you can walk is outside. But, excuse me, we're keeping in mind that we're just walking away from the outside or from the inside point of view to the outside point of view, but we're still on the inside, which means I'm just recategorizing what I have. Instead of thinking I don't have space, understand I need to swap things out at different times, and then I can maintain a space. I can maintain the comfort within that space, even when there's things I don't want to do. I might not feel like doing anything. But if I can go to the external cup that allows me to take actions no matter what, then guess what? I can always have the magic within me, and then I can always do what I need to do to pull myself together or find my soul inspiration on the inside and even find my soul inspiration on the outside. A lot of people like to go to the gym and it makes them feel better, but I like to tell people to appreciate the fact that a part of you was willing to get your ass up and get you to the gym. That's not the part of you that got to the gym, started working out and said, damn, I feel better now. One part of you was already feeling good enough to go, which was like, bro, go, we want to feel great. We call it the higher you. Psychology calls it the ideal you. But I like to call it, based upon Carl Rogers, this is just the self-focused you. It's the therapeutic aspects of you providing therapy to yourself. But because you have dissociated that aspect, because naturally we dissociate from parts of ourselves, remember, we're a giant block of cheese being grated down into a giant bowl of cheese. So we got multiple blocks being grated, multiple versions of ourselves being coalesced into a single bowl called my motherfucking bowl for my spaghetti. But this bowl is the idea of us capturing new emotions from the inside or the outside. It's just a moment for where we can capture these things and place one from one situation into another. We can use these things called places, this bowl, and then we can determine what can go into these spaces. I don't have to put cheese in that bowl. I can literally put tomatoes in there since we're making spaghetti. And then I can crush those things in there and I can start to do other aspects with that same place called the bowl. That's the idea of taking an emotion and switching it up. Taking that same cup, realizing it's not the issues on the inside, it's how you're using it. I'm sorry, bro. Fish sauce does not go with the spaghetti. No. Maybe it goes with the meat. Now we got some you know, crab meatball spaghetti or some shit. I don't know. But the idea is we redirected the energies because we realized the magic was inside of us, and the magic itself is us seeing what we have on a different pathway, in a different manner. So, lots of information from a little bit of cards. So, I'm sorry if you want to see more, but let's see what we got more for you right now. All right. So we don't have much for you. I guess you gotta just trust and listen in. So let's get down to our final message. What's going on with the final messages? So hopefully you saw that. It was perfect. So I don't pull these out anyway. The jumped out. That's what we take. And if it fall, I grab it and I pull it up, and it comes and it shows us all. This shows me that you're no longer being your own punching bag. The Wheel of Fortune. These are both 10 cards. 10 card, the foundation is you changing and turning. But you should understand that because it's cycling as it's getting smaller on the inside, most people don't correlate that spiral as actually moving through what we call volume or space. The drain that shows you the vortex of the water going down it actually is moving through a pipe system. So this spiral is moving in a linear format, but it's on a larger scale. It's grouped together. This here is representing your bowl. This here is representing that place where things can go. If I had the place value called ones, I can have values in there, but if I change the place called 100s, I can still put the number called 1 in there. Doesn't matter the place. What matters is that I can see the thing change, but I can see the change again. That initial change that we see is going from the bottom to the top, and then that second change is watching it go from the outside towards the inside. But the third change that you need to apply is that the fact that it's going from big to small means that it's going from close to far. Close to far. We have to know that because this is the idea of not being your own punching bag. Get away from the parts of you that just want to be beating things up, and go put in a part of you that want to fight. And then you'll see that part of you who trying to beat people up, bullying yourself. You'll change that attitude because now you got a bigger bully. Somebody who is there to actually do that job instead of just expressing some emotion that's unknown. Because of that, that's the whole difference between That's like the whole difference between like a bully and like a hero, a villain and a superhero. The idea is that the intent behind these actions. That's what we get, and so that's what's changing. The intent behind how you're viewing yourself, how you're perceiving the spiritual journey. You're changing what that means for you. So I'm hearing a lot of people like to do it for freedom and money. Yep. Ooh, you don't know where your strength comes from, so you do the old traditional shit, but you're in a spiritual way, so you're strong enough to carry both. But the issue is that you can't serve two masters. You're gonna eventually have to focus on the things that bring you strength to yourself in all manners. How do you obtain more of this? In all which ways, inside and outside of you. Well, you try new things. And so the new thing that you're trying is seeing if you view spirituality and feel it differently. You're trying to see if you have the strength to do it, to see if it has the strength to change it, to see if you have the strength to readjust your own internal eye. I can do it. I am doing it. I done did it. I have it completed. So let's get one more, but look, jumping right out. So again, it's here's our list. We're making our list, checking it twice. These are the movies these are the new movies. These are the new energies. These are the new experiences, the new friends. These are the new roles and new TV shows that we're planning on showing this next couple of years. And guess what? We have the strength to do it, but what's holding us back? Conflict of when to do it, conflict of where to do it, conflict of if this is right or wrong. No, it's the spiritual aspect of who you are, and you're determining who you are by letting yourself determine who it is versus who it is not. But that's the cool thing about that, because you know now that you got to apply a third thing. So it's not who you are and who you're not. It's who you are and who you're not at when, at where, at why, and at some additional feature. Again, it's not the fact that you're a block of cheese. It's not the fact that you're all being graded. It's the fact that you're being graded in as a block of cheese into a new space called a bowl of grated cheese. I'm still cheese. There's still the grater, but now there's this thing called a bowl. And now there's a thing called more blocks. So now because you've changed you've realized different values upon yourself. You've given yourself a chance to see the parts of you that's fighting. But look, one person isn't fighting. So you're letting parts of you adjust to parts of yourself. You know you have the strength, but again, it takes time to play a new role. You're the fool. It takes time to learn some new stuff. So you gotta use the old stuff. And the only way the old stuff is gonna work for the new you is if you see a new a new action. Alright. A new hairdo for some of you. Alright. What's our final message? You gotta go. Final message is the creations that you have been wanting, deeming, they're on their way because they're already here inside of you. You just gotta change the lock, which is changing your eye. I can unlock the see. So, in order to see, you must unlock which eye has that access. So, go continue to create new lists for new ways to battle each other out and, squabble their beefs. Because again, one person wants to come in and be the main character, the other wants to come in and be the main character. We both can't, we can't have two main characters in the movie, but we can have a protagonist and an antagonist. We can have you play two different roles at the same level, but the movie is the movie. So that's what you're doing. You're allowing yourself the aspects of create. You're just like a scientist collecting data and information based upon the things that you can see, the things that you know about yourself. You can see it now. So because you can see it, you're just documenting what you see, and then you're creating from the evidence that you've gathered. This is empirical. This isn't theoretical. Empirical data, because you're watching a part of you that has experience in history connect with the part of you that has experience in history, and you're waiting to see what the outcome is, or you ref in the match, but then you're also just observing how you ref, how you balance the fight between yourself. So again, you're letting yourself take a step back to be a bigger part of you. So these things become more youthful and childlike, but you're seeing how you can change your adult self based upon how you interact with your childhood self. So keep acting and interacting with the childhood self, so then you can keep taking notes on why things are happening to these children, so you can see why things happen to you as a child, so you can see why you're doing the same things your parents are doing when you was a child. So now you can start to see how you're acting in your new world when you don't have the child. You don't have the child, you're the adult. So maybe you're creating one. Maybe you're healing another. Maybe you're doing something to where you can guide. The idea is you're documenting and making a list of your new vibes. So let's keep it going. I'm excited for y'all. I'm excited for me. I'm excited for all of us. And I hope to see you next time. Mr. Renew, this is 25 Days of Christmas. Peace.